You're the head of Playing the Planet, a UNEP initiative to try and bring together the global games industry to reduce its environmental impact. Tell us more about the project, how is it going and what do you hope to achieve?
I think what is most importantly is that we all work together. So for that reason, in 2019, Playing for the Planet was established at the UN Climate Summit in New York. And since then, that was the first moment where a group of industry leaders came together and said, we need to work together to do something for the environment. And since then, this has built out as an alliance that has currently a little under 60 different members. So these are companies like PlayStation, Xbox, Supercell, Tencent Games that usually don't really work together, but because of this environmental challenge that we all face, they come together and we try to find solutions to the problems that we all share. And we do this through building guidance and tools that everybody in the industry can leverage and use and go on their environmental journey.
Now, some people would ask whether video games is the way to do this. What's your message to the skeptics?
Our mission is to activate players globally to protect and restore our planet and to accelerate decarbonization across the industry. And when we look at that first part, we usually do that through our flagship initiative, which is called the Green Game Jam. And through the Green Game Jam, we can educate, we can fundraise, we can do a lot of things that support nature. We can get people to develop a relationship with nature, to care more about nature. And I think those are the little things that in the long run could make a difference. Now, when we talk about behavior change or something like that, that is something that we have to measure over a longer period of time. So it may not be evident when you run one environmental activation in your game that it is automatically, immediately going to lead to someone changing their behavior when it comes to the environment. But I think it's a way to experiment with new content. We know players love this, so even if it doesn't have an immediate direct impact, we can still educate and inspire people to think differently about the environment.
What are some of the areas where you've made progress since 2019?
So I think it kicked off with, if I'm not mistaken, 19 companies, and that has grown now to almost 60. And I think that is a huge achievement. We have written a lot of guidance around how to set up net zero targets, how to tackle environmental storytelling, how to best build these activations in games so that they don't only teach players something, but it's also good for your business. And I think with all this knowledge that we have and a little bit of research that we have done, there is a starting point where everybody can now draw from and they don't have to start from scratch. And I think with some case studies out there, with some proof that these things are making a difference, it empowers other people to start exploring with this work as well. So people don't have to start from scratch on their environmental journey, but they are now leveraging the learnings from those that started before them.
Events like Gamescom have embraced environmental sustainability. They're recycling electricity. They've given the contracts to caterers that work in a more environmentally sustainable manner. How important is it for your message that events like this are taking the type of action that they are?
It's super important because this is one of the biggest events in the industry, so everybody is going to be here. So I think the message that they share, not only with the industry itself, but also with the attendees of Gamescom, it's extremely important to use this as a platform to spread the good word. And I think even here in Cologne Messe, the changes that they make are not only applying to Gamescom, but they apply to other events that are being held here as well. So I think these events as a platform, other events look at each other within the industry. So when one event makes big steps, the other event really can't stay behind. So I think it's an important platform to share this message. And with those who are willing to take on, that's great. And maybe some people learn something new along the way.
Artificial intelligence is set to be a big topic of discussion at Gamescom this year. How does AI help your initiative? And where do the potential problems lie?
So I think what's really important here is that we demand transparency from model developers to understand how much energy, water and things like that are being used. I think secondly, it's important that we that we expect other providers like data centers to do the right thing and move more to renewable electricity sources. And I think as an industry as a whole, we should work together and make sure that as we develop tools for our own studios and businesses and use these tools, that we take an environmental consideration in that development process. And I think with these three things, it again kind of like ties back to how we like to work at Playing for the Planet. We need to work together. All the different parties in the chain are involved to do their part. And with that, tackling these things in the early phase that we are in now from AI, we see that that is going to make the difference.
So what does the future look like for Playing the Planet in the short term, medium term, and in the long term as well?
So of course it's amazing. We have roughly 60 companies joining us, and there's many companies that are already doing great work that are not part of this alliance, but we are still not there yet. I think the way we envision it is a video games industry that is mindful of the environment without having the need for an organization that tells them what to think of. So hopefully in the years to come, I think ideally we shouldn't be around anymore because this just becomes part of everyday business. But until we reach that point, we are here to help people. We hope that more companies are willing to join this initiative and focus on the good things. Because I always think if we look at video games, I would say 99.9% probably of each video game has nature in it. So what would video games look like without nature if it wasn't there? So I think this is something we need to protect because it's something that continues to inspire. So hopefully more companies will look at it from maybe a slightly different angle as well.